Welcome to the Win Streaks preview and prediction of all 32 NFL teams for the upcoming 2017 season. Over the next few weeks, I will be covering all 32 teams, so please subscribe on YouTube or the podcast platform you're listening on so you don't miss an episode. You can follow the show on social media, Twitter at WinStreak News, Facebook.com/TheWinStreak, TheWinStreak.com. Leave a review and subscribe on the podcast platform you're listening on. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Soaring Jets Production. If you are listening on YouTube, please drop a comment and let us know how you think the 49ers are going to do this season. Contact us at either soaringjetsproductions@gmail.com or thewinstreak.com/contact. If this is the first time you've ever listened to the Win Streak episode, please check us out. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, all across the interweb. We always do weekly podcast wrap up, me and my co-host Brandon Myers. My name is Corey Foister. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Corey Foister. Join our fantasy football league. You can find out more information about that at thewinstreak.com and our Facebook page. Top 10 Super Bowl matchup we want to see as our latest top 10. We always do top 10 lists every so often. So please check out our regularly scheduled episodes of the Win Streak. But for today, we are doing the 2017 San Francisco 49ers preview and prediction. This is San Francisco's 68th season as a NFL franchise. 2017 will be the first season under new head coach Kyle Shanahan and GM John Lynch, which I personally think Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch were both great hires, especially seeing the talent that the San Francisco 49ers have had the last two seasons since getting rid of Harbaugh. 49ers went 2-14 last season. Only the Cleveland Browns had a worse regular season record. San Francisco 49ers, 2 wins came against arch rival Los Angeles Rams. 49ers 1-7 home record tie the worst home record in franchise history. And the San Francisco 49ers, I can't really recall another team that went from Super Bowl to this fast and hard fall from grace. They were extremely good and now extremely bad, and hopefully I have a soft spot for the San Francisco 49ers. Hopefully they are headed in the right direction. I mean, at this point, there's only one way to go, and that's up. The San Francisco 49ers fired Chip Kelly and general manager Trent Bulk at the end of the season. 49ers have had 4 different head coaches in 4 seasons: Shanahan, Kelly, Tomsula, and Jim Harbaugh. 49ers haven't been in the playoffs since 2013, a 4-year playoff drought. 49ers had no Pro Bowlers in 2016. That really highlights how there was not a lot of talent on that San Francisco 49ers roster last year in 2016. 49ers defense set an NFL record by allowing a 100-yard rusher in 7 straight games. They've allowed a rusher to rush 100 yards in 7 straight games. That is awful. Finished, of course, last in the league in rush defense. Jed York is owner. People have questioned his leadership and moves ever since firing Harbaugh. I think it's pretty safe bet to say that Harbaugh firing did not help the San Francisco 49ers. He should have got rid of the GM Trent. He should have got rid of Trent way before he even considered getting rid of Harbaugh. But, you know, there is some good things to like about Jed York, but anymore it's just disappointing. But I like Shanahan and I like Lynch, so hopefully he's making some smart moves here again. But will we, in a couple years, when the 49ers, if they get back, will he start making the same dumb moves that he made at the end of the Harbaugh era? 49ers were the first professional team in California. 49ers rank as the 4th most valuable team by Forbes. San Francisco was the first team to win 5 Super Bowls. The 5 Super Bowls being 1981, 1984, 1988, 1989, and 1994. 6 NFC championships, 19 division championship. Last one won in 2012. 26 playoff appearances. 49ers are best known for the dynasty era between 1981 and 1995, led by Hall of Famers Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, Ronnie Lott, Steve Young, and, of course, the great coach Bill Walsh. 49ers are at a low point currently, but they are one of the NFL's best franchises, tied with the Pittsburgh Steelers for the most conference championship appearances, 15. Just like let that sit in for a minute. The San Francisco 49ers have been to 15 NFC championship games. That is impressive. And also in 2016, the 49ers were ranked the 10th most valuable sports team in the world. That's including European, all kinds of sport team, every sports team. They are ranked the 10th most valuable. The only other ones being the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Yankees from America. A franchise what if for the 49ers, my what if scenario is what if the catch never happened? Montana famously threw the game winning touchdown to Dwight Clark to win the game against the Cowboys and go to the franchise first ever Super Bowl. It sparked a dynasty. Had that catch never happened, the 49ers may have never been a dynasty or been able to step out of the shadow of the mighty Dallas Cowboys. So yeah, that would have really changed. I mean, of course, they would have not won that Super Bowl. They'd be sitting with at least 4 Super Bowls. But that catch really signaled the end of the 49ers being a pretty joke of a team to being one of the elite teams in the NFL and one of the most respected teams in the NFL. Also, another what if, what would have happened if Joe Harbaugh stayed in San Francisco? Obviously, they would have probably not went 2-14 last season. They would probably be on a better track. Who knows with Colin Kaepernick with the whole situation there. But I still think no matter what would have happened with Colin Kaepernick, the 49ers would be in a lot better place than they are now. But I do believe in Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. Going on to the 2017 franchise outlook, the San Francisco 49ers are trying to rebuild from the death spiral they went down after ousting Jim Harbaugh as head coach. There are reason to be optimistic about the future of this franchise, but this season will be ugly. Make no mistake about it. This season will be very ugly. The roster is lacking in top tier talent. There's not a lot of talent on this roster. The 49ers might be one of the worst teams this year. They could potentially get the number one overall pick. They're competing right now with, you got to imagine, the New York Jets and the Chicago Bears, but the 49ers are up there. They're one of the top 5 worst teams. Biggest positive change, general manager, getting a new general manager. John Lynch's first draft class looks really great on paper. I mean, solid on paper. 49ers had a strong draft performance, but, you know, what looks good on paper doesn't always translate on the field. Trent Baalke is no longer calling the shots for this franchise. I think he was a terrible GM, especially the last few years. He was part of the whole Harbaugh firing, the whole tension there, which was just awful. And, well, for 49ers fan, you've been through hell after being so close to a Super Bowl title, your 6th Super Bowl title. John Lynch looks like a great hire. Trent's last few draft classes were really awful. 49ers' awful draft class left the team roster a shell of its former self. Also, Chip Kelly is gone, and Chip Kelly, he was good at Oregon, but he just didn't translate good in the NFL. And personally, to me, I feel like Chip Kelly should have been gave another season to try to turn things around. But you want Kyle Shanahan, in my opinion, before you want Chip Kelly. So 49ers made the smart move by getting Kyle Shanahan before somebody else went out there and hired him as head coach. Biggest negative change is the departure of Colin Kaepernick. Of course, you got the whole controversy surrounding Colin Kaepernick, but Colin Kaepernick, without a doubt, is the best quarterback the 49ers had. His departure as the starting quarterback has left the 49ers with an awful selection of quarterbacks. Brian Hoyer is figured to be the favorite to start at quarterback this season, but don't sleep on Matt Barkley. He could really he could win this starting job for the 49ers, but Colin Kaepernick, if you listen to our regular show every week, we've done 26 of them so far as of August 3rd. Um, we always talk about Colin Kaepernick. No matter how you feel about him, he can at least play. He's a lot better. He's a solid backup. I mean, even if you don't think he's a starter, he's a solid backup, and he was the best opportunity the 49ers had at winning games. But granted, that contract, I completely understand why the 49ers cut Colin Kaepernick. But I do believe he should be on a team. Kyle Shanahan's job is safe, so is Lynch. They should be around in San Francisco, hopefully, for years to come. Preseason schedule at Kansas City, Broncos at Minnesota, and Chargers. So not too bad of a schedule. You have to go all the way to Minnesota for week 3, but nobody's going to have a better preseason schedule than the Los Angeles Chargers, who only have to leave they don't even have to leave California. All they have to do is go up to San Francisco to play the 49ers. The 2017 regular season game by game prediction. The San Francisco 49ers have one primetime game against the LA Rams at home on NFL Network. That is Thursday Night Football. We'll look at this through worst scenario and best scenario. September 10th, you open up at home against the Carolina Panthers. Worst case scenario, you lose to the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers had a awful season last year, but you figured they'll bounce back. But if not, they fired their GM just a couple weeks ago. They look kind of a little bit dysfunctional. I have a lot of question marks about the whole roster of the Carolina Panthers. So best case scenario, you can upset the Carolina Panthers in San Francisco. September 17th at Seattle. Best case, worst case, you are not beating the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. September 21st, Rams at home. Best case, worst case, I say you actually can beat the Rams. You beat the Rams. Your only 2 wins came against the Los Angeles Rams. I'm still not big on the Rams. Yes, they fired Jeff Fisher. They look a little bit better because of that, but I'm not sold on Jared Goff. So going into October, at worst you are 1-2. At best you are 2-1. October 1st at Arizona. Best case, worst case, I say you lose against the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals, you got to figure they're going to be a lot better than last year. Last year was a very disappointing season for the Arizona Cardinals. I still think they have gas in the tank, so I don't see the 49ers winning that game. At Indianapolis Colts on October 8th, worst case you lose this game, but actually in worst case, I think you could still possibly win. Best case scenario, you definitely beat the Indianapolis Colts, especially. It really depends. Is Andrew Luck playing? Because this will be week 4 or week 5 in the NFL. If Andrew Luck if he's on the pulp list, then I can see the 49ers beating the Colts unless, ironically, they go out and get Colin Kaepernick, and Colin Kaepernick gets to play his former team in Indianapolis. October 15th at Washington. Best case, worst case, you lose to the Washington Redskins. The Washington Redskins, I'm not really big on the Redskins this year. I think they'll be decent. They won't be a playoff team, but it's going to be their 3rd road game. Just fatigue is going to set in because you go into October, Arizona, Indianapolis, and then to Washington, D.C., all those East Coast games, especially with Indiana and Washington, D.C., you got to travel all the way to there. It's just too much. So best case, worst case, you are going to lose to the Washington Redskins. October 22nd, the Dallas Cowboys at home. Worst case, best case, I still think they're going to lose to the Dallas Cowboys because Cowboys, I'll guarantee you the Cowboys are not going to go 13-3. They're definitely going to take a slight decline. I think Dak or Elliott, one of them, or both, could have a sophomore slump. They just seem primed to do it, and all the crazy stuff that's happened in the offseason. I'm not big on the Dallas Cowboys, but I definitely think the Dallas Cowboys can beat the 49ers. And then to wrap up a brutal October at Philadelphia. Best case, worst case, you lose to the Philadelphia Eagles. I like Carson Wentz. I don't think the Eagles are a playoff team. I think they could maybe sneak in, depending on other NFC teams if a few teams disappoint. But yeah, October is going to be a brutal month for the 49ers. So to recap, at Arizona, at Indiana, at Washington, D.C., technically it's Maryland, home for the Cowboys, at Philadelphia. That is brutal. One home game in October, and that one home game is against one of the toughest NFC teams going right now, the Dallas Cowboys. So at worst, you are 1-7. At best, you are 3-5. The October, I'll be surprised. I'm almost willing to bet I'll shave my head if the San Francisco 49ers can win 2 games in October, because that's a brutal stretch. Going to November. November 5th, you got Cardinals at home. Worst case, you lose that game. Best case, I can actually see you upsetting the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals, who know what kind of team they are going to be. You imagine they're going to bounce back, like I mentioned before. November 12th, home for the New York Giants. I say best case, worst case, you lose to the New York Giants just because the Giants are going to be in contention with the Cowboys and the Eagles. I say the Giants are a playoff team. They are one of the favorites to decline and miss the playoffs, but I really like what the New York Giants did this offseason, getting Brandon Marshall. I really think it helps Eli Manning have another big target. Then you go on a bye. The San Francisco 49ers have a late bye, and then the final game of November is home against the Seattle Seahawks. So you got 3 games in November. I say you lose, but definitely to the Giants and to the Seahawks. So you go into December. At worst, you are 1-10. At best, you are 4-7. Go into December at Chicago. I say worst case you can lose that, but this is going to be a close game. This game might decide who gets the first overall pick in the 2018 NFL draft, and who knows, that might be, whoever loses the game gets the honor of drafting Sam Darnold, who's right now the favorite, the number one prospect quarterback in college. So, best case, you beat the Chicago Bears. I think the Chicago Bears are actually a worse team for the 49ers than the 49ers, but that's just such a slim margin. They're both awful teams this year. At Houston, best case, worst case, I'm not hot on the Houston Texans, but I say the Texans will win, especially in Houston. December 17th, Titans. I'm big on the Tennessee Titans. Worst case, best case, I say you lose to the Titans. December 24th, Jaguars, home against the Jaguars. I'm not buying the Jacksonville Jaguars this year. So, worst case, you lose to Jacksonville Jaguars, but best case, you beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then you finish the season at LA Rams. And I say, worst case, best case, you lose to the Rams this game just because you would hope that Jared Goff and the Rams are a little bit improved. They're a little bit further along and have more talent than the 49ers. I mean, that would be embarrassing to lose, for the Rams at least, to lose yet again to the San Francisco 49ers. So, best case scenario, the San Francisco 49ers go 6-10. Worst case scenario, the San Francisco 49ers go 1-15. My final prediction is 3-13. The San Francisco 49ers have a solid chance at winning against the Rams both times. At Chicago against the Bears and Jaguars. Could upset the Colts or Skins, but that would be very tough. Part of the reason why I'm going low on my final prediction is just because of October. At Arizona, at Indiana, at Maryland, home for the Dallas Cowboys, and at Pennsylvania. That is going to be brutal. September, you're at Seattle. You got the Panthers that are so-so. You could maybe possibly pull off a win there. You got the Rams, but that's just a brutal, at best, I could see in September and October alone, winning 3 games. It's going to be, the 49ers got a brutal schedule, and it's highlighted by October, and November's not much better because, yeah, you got 3 home games and a bye, but it's against the Cardinals, the Giants, and the Seahawks, and definitely the Seahawks and the Giants, all 3 of them technically I could see in the playoffs. gets a little bit better in December, but it's going to be a rough and brutal year for the San Francisco 49ers. But I do see light at the end of this tunnel, and I think that the San Francisco 49ers are going to rebound and be a good team. It's just going to take time. But if Lynch draft the way that he did and screws the Chicago Bears out of more draft picks, then the 49ers are on the rise, and they'll be back before a lot of people think they'll be back. Once again, my name is Corey Foister. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Corey Foister. Follow on social media, Twitter at Winstreak News, Facebook.com/TheWinstreak, TheWinstreak.com. Leave a review and subscribe on the podcast platform you're listening on. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Soaring Jets Production. If you're listening on YouTube right now, drop a comment below. Let me know, what do you think the San Francisco 49ers regular season record is going to be? Do you have any bold predictions this year? Contact us also if you want to leave us a trivia question for me to ask Brandon on the air, or if you have any questions or comments or suggestions, you can go soaringjetsproductions@gmail.com, or you can go thewinstreak.com/contact and send us a message. Join our fantasy football league. You can find out more information on Facebook and on thewinstreak.com. Top 10 list. We're doing top 10 Super Bowl matchups we want to see. That is available. Once again, iTunes, Stitcher, almost every podcast platform we are on. So please check us out, The Win Streak. But until next time, this was San Francisco 49ers 2017 preview and predictions. My name is Corey Foister. Keep winning, everybody.